The Comediacs and the Case and the Mondays.
How's it going, everybody? It's Sports Card Walt, the Card Maniac, and this is going to be episode 2 of the Case of the Mondays, where I break down the most recent week of happenings in Major League Baseball. Obviously, we're into week 3 of spring training. Nice to see a lot of prospects getting some run, but now we're going to start seeing a lot more regulars kind of get ready and get more at bats as they get ready for the upcoming season. A couple things real quick before we get started. I realize doing these breakdowns is not exactly super popular with the populace in general, but it is something I'm passionate about. Baseball is probably my favorite sport of all the big four sports that are out there, for card collecting as well. So I wanted to make this series that we're doing called A Case of the Mondays to kind of break down the happenings in Major League Baseball strictly from kind of a card collecting perspective, right? So basically the players that were most recently drafted over the last several years, but those who have cards in Bowman, those who have rookie card logos, within the last, I want to call it basically the ultra modern era of sports cards. We kind of want to just kind of keep with those players within the last 6 years, basically, and kind of keep an eye on those players throughout the season. So I'm not 100% sure what this series of videos is going to be yet. Maybe focusing half on prospects, half on, like I said, those players who have rookies in the last couple of years. Kind of just see how they're progressing throughout the season, if their values are going up, if their values are going down. Just kind of keep an eye out for that. I will have some other videos coming out later this week. I want to do another opening of Series 2 hockey, which turned out to be my most successful video to date. Almost has 500 views, so I really appreciate everybody out there tuning in as we try to grow this channel. I do want to focus on baseball, but I do want to have a whole lot of different things involved. So please like and subscribe. It costs nothing. It would really help this channel out tremendously as we get started. So without further ado, this is going to be episode 2 of the Case of the Mondays, or you want to call it Case of the Spreadsheets. I just want to go over the injury report. Nothing crazy to report this past week. Let's quickly dive into it. Obviously, Acuna still day-to-day with that knee injury. He's still expected to be ready for opening day. Edward Cabrera for the Marlins, a promising young pitcher who has cards in 2022 sets, is day-to-day with the right shoulder tightness. Hopefully nothing to be too concerned about there. Obviously, Kodai Senga for the Mets, who had rookies last year for New York, still out for about 2 to 3 weeks with that shoulder injury. Hopefully it's not too serious. There's a really good chance that he misses the first part of the season. And also Andrew Painter, another pitching prospect, this one for the Phillies. Again, not expected to pitch this season, coming back from surgery on his shoulder, or his elbow, excuse me. A very promising prospect who is in the top 100 MLB pipeline. Obviously, we don't really break down pitchers too often because they're not valued as highly as hitters are throughout the hobby, but a very, very young, promising prospect for Philadelphia. He's in the top 50 for Philadelphia, and somebody to keep an eye out, I guess, for the 2025 season. Hopefully he can come back strong. And obviously Ryan Mauricio for the Mets, we know that he's out all season with that ACL tear. For the NL Central, nothing to report. For the NL West, Diego Cartaya, bit of a back injury, kind of day-to-day, but he was just optioned to AAA, a very promising prospect for the Dodgers. Jordan Lawler, top 20 prospect for the Arizona Diamondbacks, struggled throughout camp. He was just optioned to AAA yesterday. Expect him to begin the season at Reno. Hopefully he can get it going, and hopefully he can make his debut for the D-backs sometime at the beginning of May, I would think. He needs to kind of get it going a little bit. And obviously Yuki Matsui, I added him onto this list. Bit of a back injury. He was one of the players that was selected from the Nippon Baseball League over in Japan. Possible future closer for San Diego. He hasn't pitched yet in the spring, or he has pitched not very much. He is going to be ready for that opening South Korea series that counts for the regular season. I don't know, if he would actually pitch in that series or not, given the fact that he hasn't really done a whole lot so far this spring training camp. Moving over to the American League, really quick. I want to try to keep this video as condensed as possible. Samuel Basallo, a super young prospect for the Orioles, has returned from injury. He played in the Futures game, but I will not expect him to play in any other spring training games this season. Obviously, look for him to probably start the season at Double-A, but a very good prospect for the super loaded and talented Baltimore Orioles. Vaughn Grissom, as we mentioned last week, possible to be out for opening day with a groin injury for Boston. Came over in that Atlanta Brave trade. Jason Dominguez, nothing too new to report there. He's still going to be out for the next couple of months with that elbow injury. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Has played very well this spring. He's day-to-day with a left knee contusion. Nothing too serious. Nothing to report from the AL Central, and really nothing else to report. Josh Young for the world champion Rangers, still out for about 2.5 weeks with that calf injury. He's supposed to be ready by about March 28th, which would basically be right in time for the opening of the regular season. So watch out for that. Quickly moving on to kind of a who's hot, who's not. As far as spring training goes, I want to, again, keep it to the players who are either prospects in the top 100 or players who've had rookie cards in the last 6 or 7 years. Most of the prospects aren't going to get too much more run as the regulars start playing more and more into the third week of spring training. But super quickly, for the NL East division, Michael Harris continues to have a strong spring. He's now 9 for 26, 3 home runs, 1 steal for the Braves. You can find his cards, last year's Topps products for his rookie card logo cards. Francisco Alvarez had cards last year in all Topps prospects as a rookie card. 5 for 16, 3 home runs. Hasn't played a whole lot, saving his knees for the regular season as their primary catcher. In my opinion, I'm super high on Alvarez. He has 40 home run talent capability. Whether he gets enough at bats to get there remains to be seen. Obviously, he's only going to catch probably 3 or 4 times a week at most, but maybe he could DH for them. I would do it, considering how raw power that kid has. James Wood still in camp for the Nats. Still showing a strong spring, 11 for 31 so far with those 3 home runs and the steal. Again, I don't expect James Wood to make the team, but someone to keep an eye out for the first 2 months of the regular season for the minors for him, whether or not he shows enough to maybe even get called up fairly quickly. Jared Kelenic for the Braves, still not really showing a lot. Again, though, as I say for all these players, small sample sizes, right? Guy could struggle now and be super hot the first 2 weeks of the regular season. Kelenic's just 2 for 27. Not really sure 100% if he's going to make the team for the Braves. I would imagine he might, but the fact that he's not really doing much, it's going to be interesting to kind of see what they do with him. Dylan Cruz, obviously a top draft pick last year for the Nats. He's still in camp. He's gone 4 for 21. He did hit the home run last week. He has a couple of steals. Again, like James Wood, Dylan Cruz, there's no way he makes the team, obviously, out of camp. And I wouldn't really expect Dylan Cruz to be on the big league roster at any point this season, unless he just goes nuts. Maybe, late August, September call up for Dylan. Obviously, he is an advanced bat coming out of LSU. He needs more time, but we'll have to see how it goes for him in the minors to start the season. Quickly in the NL Central, Jackson Chourio, who's obviously top 5 prospect in baseball, had a rough week his first week. Obviously, things changed in an instant. Had a very good week this past week. He is on the hot list, I guess, 11 for 35 overall this spring. Not a lot of power shown, but it is good to see him stringing some hits, a couple doubles, not a lot of walks, not a lot of strikeouts either. He will definitely make the team out of camp. He'll definitely be starting for the Brewers, I'd imagine. You'll see his rookie card hopefully in Topps Series 2 Baseball or Topps Chrome, Topps Update later on into the season. Owen Casey for the Cubs continues to have a strong spring. He's 11 for 25 with a homer and a steal. Certainly a top prospect for the Cubs to watch out for. Henry Davis for the Pirates didn't have a great week, but he's 7 for 24 so far with 4 home runs, which is pretty good for actually basically a second year for Pittsburgh. Played a little bit last year. Has rookies this year. Watch out for those. Promising prospect / rookie, I guess now for Pittsburgh. Termarr Johnson also for Pittsburgh. He is still in camp. He's gone 7 for 18 with 2 home runs. I don't expect him to make the team, but again, somebody to keep an eye out for in the top 50 prospects in all of baseball at some point this season. Elly De La Cruz for the Cincinnati Reds. What more could be said about this guy? He's now 9 for 23 this spring with a home run, 4 steals. Personally, I don't know why a lot of these players steal so much during spring training. Winning games doesn't really matter too much, but I guess they want to get their timing down as well for steals for the regular season. But obviously, Elly De La Cruz, you're going to find him all throughout Topps products this year for his rookie card logo. You got to go back to 2022 Bowman to find his first year cards and his first year autograph cards. But the sky's the limit for Elly De La Cruz, as everybody I'm sure already knows. Pete Crow Armstrong, we broke down him as part of our top 100 list for the Cubs. I'm not too high on him, not to say that he can't have a really good season. He's gone just 4 for 25 with 3 steals. And unfortunately, Noelvi Marte for Cincinnati, 3 for 10 in spring training camp, but obviously the big story, the big news, was suspended for 80 games by Major League Baseball for violating the substance abuse policy. Just a crushing blow for Marte. Baseball-wise, it shouldn't affect him terribly too much. He still has a ton of talent. I would imagine he's been, quote-unquote, cheating for forever. But for a trading card and sports card, value-wise, anytime a player gets suspended, that takes a significant hit into his value. So something to keep an eye on this year. He will have cards this season for rookie card logo cards. And of course, he was in 2019 Bowman for his first year cards. But again, anytime somebody gets suspended for 80 games for violating substance abuse policy, aka basically cheating, it's going to affect our card values. So we'll have to see how it affects his going forward. And finally, not finally, but for the NL West, Jordan Beck is still in camp for the Rockies. He's gone 9 for 19 with a steal. We mentioned Jordan Lawler. He's got sent down by the D-backs, did not have a very strong spring in his limited at-bats. Marco Luciano for the Giants is just 1 for 17. Again, still on the top 100 prospect list. Should make the team, I would imagine, but not really super high on him. I want to see how he does. Quickly for the AL American League, Jackson Holliday has gone off last week, 10 for 21, a home run and 2 steals. Kobe Mayo is going to seem that every Baltimore Oriole is on fire. Kobe Mayo also for the O's, 10 for 31, a home run and a steal. Colton Cowser remains hot for Baltimore, 9 for 20, 4 home runs now, 1 stolen base. You can find his cards in 2024 Top Series 1 Baseball. Juan Soto, who everybody probably has picked as going nuts for the Yankees this year, especially in that ballpark, which we've explained before. He remains on fire, 9 for 21, 4 home runs. Spencer Jones, I don't believe is still in camp for the Yankees, but he did pick up 3 more at-bats and a hit. 7 for 16 with a home run. Certainly a top prospect to keep an eye out for. Quickly on the not-so-hot list for the East, Orelvis Martinez for the Blue Jays, just 3 for 16. Adley Rutschman struggled a little bit, but again, take it for a grain of salt. Just 19 at-bats in spring training. Nothing to be concerned about by any stretch. Does have 2 home runs. Tristan Casas for the Red Sox, just 2 for 17. And I included Nick York. He's 2 for 18. Struggled so far in spring. He's not in MLB Top 100. He's not in the Top 100 for MLB Pipeline, but he does make some Top 100 prospect lists. Certainly somebody to kind of keep an eye out for. He's a little older. Certainly has some talents. Will be interesting to see how he does this season. In the AL Central, we have MJ Melendez for the Royals at 8 for 18 with a home run and a steal. Nick Prado is now 9 for 22 with 2 home runs and a stolen base. For first base job for the Kansas City Royals, Vinny Pasquantino hasn't shown a whole lot coming back from injury. Nick Prado, I think, is probably the better prospect or the better, more talented guy for Kansas City. So it'll be interesting to see if Nick Prado can actually make the team. over Pasquantino if they keep both and one DH. But MJ Melendez sometimes DHs, doesn't really catch anymore because they still have Salvador Perez, et cetera, et cetera. Jace Jung for the Tigers, 6 for 16, did hit a home run last week. Eduardo Julian for the Twins, 8 for 21, 2 home runs, 1 steal. On the not list, Brian Rocchio for the Guardians, just 2 for 20. Not super high on Brian. Spencer Torkelson has struggled so far, as well as Luis Robert, the Chicago White Sox. And finally, for the American League West, Zach Neto for the Angels has shown good numbers so far this spring at 9 for 29, a couple home runs, a couple of steals. Shea Langoliers for the A's had a very good week. He's now 10 for 29 with 2 home runs. Zach Geloff, who's in Top Series 1 baseball, 9 for 28, 2 home runs. Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter. These kids for the Rangers are going to be phenomenal players. Evan's already on the team. Wyatt Langford will be on the team at some point this season. There's no question. Wyatt's now has 4 home runs this spring. A super loaded Rangers team. It's a little annoying, honestly, but world champion. And they have arguably the best farm system in baseball, or at least a top 10 farm system in baseball, which is just crazy to think about it. Tyler Soderstrom, former kind of prospect guy, he's in this year's Topps products as a rookie, just 3 for 19. And Yainer Diaz, struggling still for the Astros, 3 for 26, did hit the home run last week. That'll wrap it up for episode 2 of the Case of the Mondays. Watch out for episode 3 next Monday as we break down week 3 of spring training. And again, please like and subscribe. I know these baseball breakdowns aren't as popular as some of the others, but we hope to have a lot more content on this channel going forward, mixing in some review of sports card breakdowns like we did with Series 2 hockey, mixed in with some baseball stuff going throughout the season. That'll be it today, everybody. Again, please like and subscribe. It would really help this channel out, and we'll see you next time.